So, I was saying that Hillary Clinton was getting a bribe, a payment from one of the New World Order masters, which being an international bank. And they gave the bribe to her in the form of a speaking fee. You got a fee for delivering a lecture.
Wow.
Her husband gets fees of $400,000. It's a great way to
per hour, right?
Yeah, it's a great way to take a bribe. But when you listen to her speeches, or his speeches,
Yeah.
they're tripe, plain utter tripe. Nobody would pay $1 for that garbage. But this is the mechanism for taking a bribe nowadays. Quid pro quo, and what she did with the quid, 200,000 quid or 250,000 quid, and the quo she gave was, I will open the borders of the United States. I dream of a hemisphere.
Oh.
The whole Western Hemisphere will be a vast, single entity, stateless, and open trade and open borders.
Did she actually say that?
She actually said that,
Oh,
and it's undeniable.
gosh.
She can't deny it.
The president of Jamaica always talks how much he cares about the children, how much he's helped children.
Well, I have been making trips to the United States, and I have seen the idyllic small towns of Oregon and Washington and California.
Yeah, me too.
I went to Ashland in California where they hold the Shakespeare Festival.
Yeah,
I have seen the beautiful neighborhoods of Eugene, Oregon,
yeah.
which are beautiful, idyllic, tree-lined, with every trace of European love for nature, European love for harmony, for an aversion to anything garish or overstated.
Yeah,
I have seen how Europeans have built a European forest civilization in North America, those idyllic, beautiful towns.
yeah.
And right now, Halloween time, people are gathering, going to the pumpkin patch, which they maintained. They have nice structure, beautiful artistic displays and piles of pumpkins
Yeah.
with Halloween witches and figures representing girls and boys. And she wants those Americans living that lifestyle, that European lifestyle, to find in their town squares, in the village squares, to find the Halloween patches. She wants them to be crowded out, outnumbered and then pushed out by people from Uruguay and people
Yeah.
from Honduras
Yeah.
and Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
She wants them to be pushed out of their lives, to be pushed out of the very villages and towns that their grandfathers and great-grandfathers and great-great-grandfathers built.
Yeah.
Now, there was a time when people like Hillary Clinton were called what they are, treasonous people, traitors to their race,
Like Anthony
traitors
Macron.
to their nation and traitors to their state.
Yeah.
And the treatment for them was to be stripped naked and flogged till the skin came off their backs and flogged till death. But today, oh no, the media, another part of the New World Order masters, another of their tools, lifts her up to be a president.
And compassionate.
Mm-hmm.
Compassion is aggression.
Yes. So, while the masters were thinking that this would be done in dark corners, in shadows, no, WikiLeaks exposed it, and the spider has come into the center of the room, into the light of day.
Ah.
The bloated spider, and along with it, the caterpillar on the spider's back, the Hillary Clinton. So this is what she envisages, the genocide of her people,
Yeah.
and no problem for her. So this is what she wants. And now we come to the first debate, the first Clinton-Trump debate. And it is in keeping with that vision of hers that she sprang a surprise upon him in the waning minutes of that first debate. And that first debate was held on the 26th September.
Yeah.
And she left because she let loose that ambush in the last minutes of the debate. Trump had no time to fact check or to research it and make a comeback, make a reply. She said one of the worst things, and then out come the accusation of racism in strident, self-assertive, self-righteous tones. She's speaking of Donald Trump. One of the worst things he said was about a woman in a beauty contest, and he called this woman Miss Piggy. Then he called her Miss Housekeeping because she was Latina. Donald, she has a name. Her name is Alicia Machado, and she has become a US citizen, and you can bet she's going to vote this November. Now, she'd like to make the whole of Latin America US citizens.
Yeah.
But she held up one symbolic fragment of the mosaic there.
Yeah.
Now, trouble is it's symbolic in too many ways. Hillary Clinton maybe didn't know it, or maybe she did know it. But the symbolism goes in different, let me put it this way, in several dimensions.
Yeah.
Miss Machado was a winner of the Miss Universe beauty contest at a time when Donald Trump owned the company. And what the media has been saying in the last little while is that Trump forced her, humiliated her, by making her do workouts and get rid of her fat, because after the Miss Universe contest she put on a huge amount of weight. She became overblown and plump, like the 50 pounds perhaps overweight.
Yeah.
And that was, of course, in violation probably of her contract, because with the Miss Universe, various sponsor companies then have her appear and promote their goods.
Yeah, I see.
So this was a business deal, and she violated that, and it was it was becoming a real problem.
That's fair enough. Yeah.
For the company.
Yeah.
But the media, being able to lie at will,
Yeah.
because it controls so much of the sneak rulers control almost all the media.
The way we think.
They drove it into the minds of Americans and of the world, in fact, that Donald Trump forced her, humiliated her by forcing her to do fitness workouts in front of TV cameras. Now, I actually looked into that, and I found a video which is available on YouTube where it turned out quite differently. Donald Trump, the executives and sponsors of Miss Universe, the Miss Universe company, wanted to fire her, take away her crown.
Yeah.
But Donald Trump, for whatever reason, probably a business reason, felt, no, let's not rock the boat, let her keep her crown, but we can get her to lose weight. And she can keep her crown, which will be profitable for her. So, to reassure the sponsors, he organized one of the best fitness trainers in the world,
Yeah.
and had a workout in a gym, and he organized a press conference to show people off and say, look, she's doing so well and she's doing so good. And he was very supportive and friendly,
Wow.
and said, all of us like to eat, like I'm one of those people who like to eat too much. I have a problem, but there's also, with a little effort, we can try to control it. And look, she's controlling it very well. Look how beautiful she is. She's one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen. That's what he said.
Wow.
And she, at the time, this Latina lady, Miss Alicia Machado, was smiling coyly and all goo-goo eyes for Trump. And he was saying that I need to work out, and she says, you can work out with me, come and work out with me.
Yeah.
So that was really what happened.
That's what really happened. I didn't know that.
And
So
Donald
you
Trump,
said that, I didn't know that.
yeah, you didn't know that because you weren't allowed to know that.
That's right, the media.
So Donald Trump was actually very supportive of her and telling people that she's one of the most beautiful women and she's doing so well, and look how good she looks right now. He was reassuring the sponsors, and in the process, she was benefiting. She was getting to keep her crown and get money off of all this.
Yeah.
So that was how she was, and there's a YouTube video of it. It's easily found. So, that's the real truth.
Wow.
And the tragedy is that Trump saved her status as Miss Universe, and now she's turned on him and betrayed him.
Well, I wonder why she's being bribed to do that.
Well, I'm sure there are many rewards, many hidden rewards and money and bribes
Sure.
for that. It's a microcosm and a harbinger of a larger phenomenon. I come from a third world country, and I know how among many peoples and races there's a tendency to betray and turn on the very person who's benefited you. is very strong. I have been the victim of it.
Oh.
But it's a microcosm of something bigger, that Americans are being benefactors to various alien persons, letting them into their country, which means surrendering their country, or certainly part of their country to them, part of the very soil they live on, they live from which they draw their sustenance. And these people will probably one day turn on them with ingratitude and hate, just as Alicia Machado is doing today.
Yeah.
You can just watch her friendly and adoring demeanor to him at this event and contrast it with the way she attacks him today.
Yeah.
In this interview, on that channel, that news flash.
Wow, it's a warning for us.
And she is, in her own word, not a saint girl. She has been caught out in her lie to the effect that Trump's bullying forced her into bulimia and anorexia. She said that Trump bullied her, and she was so afraid of him, she was forced into bulimia and anorexia. Well, that's a lie. She's been caught out in it. She had those problems before Trump, and she said it in an interview to a newspaper.
Wow.
She birthed a love child for a Mexican drug lord named Jose Gerardo Alvarez Vasquez.
Ah.
So while she birthed this love child, she might have been married to someone else. I'm not sure about it. I don't want to research such petty things. But was this an anchor baby she birthed for this drug lord? An anchor baby for a drug lord? There are reports that she drove a getaway car after a murder in Venezuela.
Whew.
And a Venezuelan judge stated that she threatened to ruin his career and to kill him
Wow.
if he ruled against her. Now that's the behavior that happens in Latin American countries.
Yeah.
And maybe because other people made threats, others of her acquaintance, other criminals of her acquaintance made threats to the judge and to other judges, maybe that's why she was never charged.
Wow.
But definitely a Venezuelan judge came out and said in public that this woman, Alicia Machado, threatened him
Wow.
and threatened to kill him. Okay?
Good points you're raising here.
Now this is, then later on it turns out, she modeled in the nude for Playboy magazine. Wow, well, now Hillary Clinton talks about Trump's lewd comments and so forth, but so the poster child she holds up,
Yeah.
models in the nude for Playboy magazine. And there is footage of her having full-on sex with the host of a Spanish reality TV show.
Wow.
Now that's a great poster child for giving US citizenship to every alien that comes along.
Gosh.
Okay? Now this is what Hillary Clinton represents. Open the borders and give citizenship to this kind of person who indulges in the actions of third world countries, such as drug lordism and the threatening and killing of judges. It is very common in Latin America, something called plomo o plata, lead or silver.
Yeah.
Either you take our bribe and rule for us, or you take our bullet.
Lead or silver.
Yeah, the lead bullet or the silver bribe. This is the kind of person that Hillary Clinton holds up as a poster child.
Maybe she
This
can
is-
relate to that.
This is the kind of person she wants to bring into America with open borders.
Yeah.
Okay? And this is the kind of person, once she brings in millions of these, they can vote for Clinton, vote for the Democrats, vote for more open borders,
Yeah.
vote for endless democratic policies like endless welfare and
Going
taxation
towards
and social
communism.
benefits,
Yeah.
and then become ingrates and turn upon the naive whites who led them into their countries.
Gosh.
She's turned upon Trump. Why shouldn't they turn upon, when things go a little rough economically, they'll turn upon the whites for sure. Okay, that's Hillary Clinton's program. It's the program of the masters. Turn the US into a Latin American and third world country. And hence you have Hillary's campaign slogan, "Stronger Together." We are stronger together if we are mixed up with Fijians, Indonesians, Congolese, Latinas. Now it's reminiscent of a slogan of the Antifas in Britain, the anti-fascists.
Yeah, yeah.
They say they're against the racists and the neo-Nazis. And you know what their slogan is in Britain?
What?
We are one, black and white. Together we are dynamite.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, stronger together. Together, We are one, black and white. Together, we are dynamite. And you know what? I heard a guy in England reply to that saying, together you're a mongrel mediocrity.
Yeah.
Together you're mongrels.
Diversity is code word for white genocide.
Mongrelization and white genocide.
Yeah.
So, does that mean that I have any problem with any of these people? Am I a hateful person? No. Am I saying that people should go into the countries of Haiti and colonize them, go into Indonesia and colonize them? Do I hate any Latina? If I did, I would advise Americans to launch a military expedition into Peru, invade it and colonize it.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing that. I'm saying they have a country. I wish them well in their country.
That's right.
White Americans have a country. I wish them well in their country. Present Americans have a country. Let them do well in their country. But let us not just have this hateful attitude of invade and colonize everybody.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah, good point.
They are the haters.
That's right.
So on the other side of the divide stands Donald Trump. He represents the betrayed, the victims of the colonization that has been going on for 60 years now.
Yeah.
In many cases, they're the victims of ingrates. Ingrates. Germans let in a horde of migrants in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Spurred by the Syrian civil war, the Germans let in hordes of migrants. And what do? They rape German girls.
Yeah.
They grope German girls. Yeah. And I think
police protect them too.
I think the Germans who are now suffering from this ingrate, what shall we call it, an explosion of ingrates,
Yeah.
they would sympathize with Donald Trump.
Yeah, they should.
So, now comes the second debate, but before the second debate came a little attack. Yes?
Yes.
And the attack was that Donald Trump had released a video. Released a video dating back to 2005, 11 years ago,
yeah.
in which Donald Trump made some lewd comments.
Locker room talk.
And he called it locker room talk, which it is, but now, of course, everyone's become saints. They become complete saints.
Like Hillary.
No, men don't talk like that. None of the men I know talk like that. Well, I've heard women talking like that.
Yes. I've heard women and men talking like that.
I often hear women talking among themselves, talking like that, but what does it matter? Now,
What does it matter?
it seems that, we can talk about that in a little bit, but this, we'll get to that in a little bit. Now, it's kind of an inkling of the way the masters of the New World Order operate.
Yeah.
While they're flooding your country with aliens and robbing you of your country, from the very water you drink and the soil you stand on, they turn your attention to lewd comments made 11 years ago and pretend that that's all important.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So,
Good point.
I will come to that in a bit. Now, Trump hadn't done too well in the first debate. And now comes this storm of righteous virtue posturing about his lewd comments about how he grabbed women and so forth. But it might be worth looking at who actually leaked the video.
Ah, I didn't know this. Who did? Yeah.
Well,
saved it all.
I can't say who did, but I can say that there are credible reports to the fact that the person who leaked the video was one Daniel Samuel Senor. Now, the reports are credible, and it appears that his wife also confirmed it. Don't take my word for it, but this appears to be the man, Daniel Samuel Senor.
Ah.
Who is this person?
Yeah, what's his motive?
Well, this person's resume is of some interest. It's a pretty long resume of subversive activity
Oh.
because he's an insider in the neoconservative movement.
Ah.
He's what they call a neocon.
Ah.
And what's a neocon? A neocon is a subverter. He's a subverter who wants to pervert and subvert America and the American taxpayer
The Trotskyites, I think.
into serving Israel in the Middle East. Now, the first neocon that I really saw very nakedly was a man called Michael Ledeen.
Yeah.
He was heading something called the American Enterprise Institute.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember an interview he had with this fellow Chris Matthews of the program Hardball.
Yeah.
Hardball is the program of the television channel MSNBC.
Mm-hmm.
And this Michael Ledeen was saying that we, and you wonder who the we is,
Yeah.
we need to smash the Palestinians just as you can't just deal with someone, you have to smash them into the ground. You can't just negotiate. Like we smashed Germany to the ground. You've got to actually rub their noses in the dirt. And we have to smash the Palestinians, but we can't do it while they're getting help from Iraq, Iran, and Syria.
Ah.
So what we need is to look at it in a broader sense of the whole theater and do regime change in all three countries by invading them.
Gosh.
And Chris Matthews said, okay, so you want regime change in all these countries. And Michael Ledeen says, faster please.
Gosh.
Well, he said the same thing in his website. I checked his website and he said the same thing. Faster please. Now this is known as treachery.
Yeah.
Here's a man, Michael Ledeen, who is a Jew and most likely an Israeli citizen.
Yeah.
I haven't checked on that. But he wants, for the interest of his tribe, to get 250 million Americans to invade Iran, Iraq, and Syria, change their regimes, for the benefit of his tribe.
Yeah.
Now that's treachery of the first order, treason of the highest degree.
Yep.
But does he get prosecuted? Oh no, he gets to go on MSNBC and say, let's have it done quickly.
Wow.
Now that's a neocon.
That's a neocon.
That's the neoconservative movement. And this man who leaked this video of Donald Trump talking lewdly of grabbing women by the P word
Yeah.
and leaked it just before the second debate
Yeah.
was a neocon. He has founded, and I'm pretty sure it's him. I won't swear to it because a lot of research has to be done, but this appears to be the case. He has formed a so-called think tank, and a think tank is a stink tank.
Stink tank. Yeah.
This think tank is called the Foreign Policy Initiative, and he has formed it along with fellow neocon warmongers William Crystal and Robert Kagan.
Okay.
These are the warmongers who want America in war in the Middle East, to smash up the Middle East.
How did he get the tape? Did he explain that? How he found it? How he got hold of it?
Money is the universal key.
Because he was just paying to find some dirt.
Money will uncover so many things. But
Wow.
what is the most disturbing aspect of this whole thing? This gentleman, Daniel Samuel Sinor,
Yeah.
is a close advisor to Paul Ryan, the Republican leader.
Oh. Yeah.
He is close to Paul Ryan, the Speaker of the House, and probably the most influential Republican.
Yeah.
So was Paul Ryan involved? Did he know about it? Now that remains to be seen. Yes, but it for sure that as soon as this video came out, Paul Ryan said, I'm pulling support for Trump.
Wow.
Yeah? So we have to wonder.
Inside the Republican Party.
So you know very well that Donald Trump leads a populist movement of the people, but the Republican Party has become a controlled opposition party, which basically is part of the bumsuckers, the sycophants, the money grubbers who take a few crumbs from the table of the masters of the New World Order.
To betray their own people, yeah.
So of course he doesn't want Trump and his populist movement, because the movement is threatening the very
The
rule of the
Republican Party, yeah.
It's asserting the interests of the American people.
Yes.
And that's the last thing they want. They want the American people to be slaves.
That's right.
So we have to wonder about it, and that was the prelude to the debate. That Trump is hit with this video, and everybody, not everybody, but all the media channels, pontificating about what an evil man this is,
Yeah.
unfit to be president, would you like that man to represent you? What should we tell our children?
Gosh.
Said 100 of these saints. Now these media whores are saints.
Yeah. Hypocrisy.
These whores who have betrayed their country 1,000,000 times over
Yeah.
are now become virtue posturers. They've become moral leaders.
That's right.
They don't talk like that, which all reminds me of something. There was a little cartoon I saw of Senator Edward Kennedy
Uh-huh.
and William Clinton,
Yeah.
the ex-president, talking. In the cartoon, Senator Edward Kennedy says, "I killed a woman, drowned her." And Bill Clinton says, "I raped a few." And then they both say, "Thank God we didn't talk dirty." That fella Trump talks dirty. Thank God we didn't talk dirty.
Gosh, yeah.
That kind of reminds me of
rape
that.
women, young women.
Yeah.
Good
So,
point.
thank God they didn't talk dirty. Donald Trump talks dirty. He's not fit to be president. Just forget about your country and being dissolved, just turned into a province.
Gosh.
Forget about
So much more
losing
important.
your town to aliens, to millions of aliens flooding in. Donald Trump actually said a few things, man to man, to someone else.
Yeah.
But now we come to the
It's out of proportion, out
Yeah.
of perspective.
well, the media whipped it up into a frenzy, but
Yeah.
can discuss that a bit later. But then came an interesting thing. Everyone thought Donald Trump would walk into the debate looking like a whipped puppy. They thought he'd come in looking subdued and defensive. And they were really hoping for the weapon of the apology to be used against him.
Uh-huh.
Now, many individuals, many politicians have spoken their mind against the New World Order in
Yeah.
one way or the other, one thing or the other.
Yeah.
They've said something that annoyed the masters, but then they were immediately thumped.
Yeah.
And the demand went out, apologize. You will apologize.
Yeah.
The apology is a way of getting people to literally go on their knees.
Yeah.
To
It's a message for others too.
Basically, the media humiliates and emasculates individuals by digging up some moral scandal or the other, forcing them to apologize, and that guy is emasculated.
Yeah.
And he goes down on his knees, symbolically, metaphorically, he goes down on his knees, and he humbly announces his apology and he accepts slave status. He actually says, in effect, to the media and the masters behind them that I am now subservient to you. So there was this demand placed over and over that Donald Trump must apologize.
Yeah.
He must be
I
humble.
saw the debate.
He must apologize. So whenever a person speaks his mind and is politically incorrect, the masters remind him of that person of their power. They force that person to apologize.
Oh, your time's got a few seconds left in this section.
Okay. So this was the dramatic moment. The video had come out. Trump was under terrible attack.
Yeah.
And the second debate, all important, begins.
Yeah, I watched it.
And the world expected him to come into the second debate looking chastened, looking humiliated, looking subdued,
He was strong.
tamed.
Teamed.
But he stood erect and confident, and his apology was perfunctory and limited. I'm not proud of what I said.
Yeah.
He didn't grovel. He didn't look ashamed.
That's Trump.
Yeah. And he didn't look sheepish. He didn't look disconcerted. And immediately he pivoted to what was important. He said, when we have a world in which terrible things are happening, for example, ISIS chopping people's heads off and drowning them in steel cages, I think there are more important things than what I said.
Locker room talk. 11
Than
years
locker
ago.
room talk. He was trying to put it into perspective, whereas of course, the media, I call the media whores,
Yeah.
had tried to blow it up as being the most important thing in the world.
We're called prostitutes.
Prostitutes. So he pivoted to that. Now here's something rather interesting, that Donald Trump was not subdued. He was not bowed, as they say,
Yeah.
and he conducted that debate with confidence and quite aggressively. The average white has been intimidated for 60 years. The average white has been intimidated, rendered effeminate, by 60 years of cultural subversion, controlled degeneration, social engineering. At one time, there were a strong people white people were strong and decisive. Now you see them with that uncertain look in their eyes.
Oh, yeah.
And they're ready to surrender everything. But that's especially so in America. A nation of strong hunters, pioneers, cowboys and warriors has been turned into wimps.
That's true.
Whimpering and looking over their shoulders lest they've said something politically incorrect.
Yeah, or hurt someone's feelings.
I apologize. And they're always sort of like crabs, sort of cowering, like a crab cowers inwards.
Yeah.
The average white American is practically a crab.
Yeah.
The Hollywood movies always depict the strong white pioneer as a vicious man who's cruel to the native Indians, to the Mexicans, everyone else.
Hollywood.
And then this man cowers when he meets with someone bigger. Yeah? I've seen that in 100 movies. The average white, if he is strong, he's evil. And he's also weak, really, because when he meets someone stronger, he sort of goes to pieces, crumbles, apologizes. The educated and enlightened white doesn't want to be that sort of person, because that's the Hollywood evil person, the bad person.
Yeah.
He wants to be a weakling. He'd rather be weak. The masters have intimidated the average American white man to become a coward, afraid to speak his mind, cowering and afraid to defend himself from any other, I'm saying other with a capital O, ready to surrender his country to aliens. Every advertisement suggests that the natural mate of a white woman is a colored man, a strong black one.
It's a powerful suggestion, isn't it?
Yeah. The natural mate of the white woman is a black man, a strong one, because the white man is just not manly enough, virile enough, sexual enough.
Yeah.
In the middle of this comes Donald Trump, disproving all that. Yeah. He's the antithesis of all that propaganda. He's tall, he's strong, he's vigorous, he has lots of women. He has, he has a good, healthy sexual appetite for women. And above all, he's masculine, virile, decisive, strong. He does not apologize and grovel like the coward politicians who are in politics. Who are in politics only to pick up crumbs from the table of the masters.
Right.
And as someone remarked of his performance in the debate, and I can't remember that someone, that he has balls the size of grapefruits. That's how he showed himself in the debate. Now, that is half the appeal of Donald Trump. He represents the real American man, the mountain climber, the hunter, the swimmer, the outdoorsman, the person who goes on wilderness treks. Not the feminized American man that the masters have been so busy trying to create.
Yeah, powerful suggestion.
Yeah, that's half his appeal. That he represents the real American man, the fighter, the man of rugged independence, the man who'll fight a duel to the death with a Colt 45.
Yeah.
If his honor is impeached. To defend his honor, he'll fight a duel to the death. That's the old American, the real American. And white Americans today see that as reassuring. They look at Donald Trump and they're reassured that we haven't had our balls taken off.
Make America great again, they're hearkening to their past.
They look at Donald Trump's and they see in him a reminder and a suggestion that they're not totally effeminized and demasculated and made into wimps. They see that they can reach within themselves and stop being losers, and they can stop losing their country. Now I tell you, if there were 1,000 Donald Trumps, they would boot the masters out and the masters would run and not stop running till they'd crossed the Atlantic. Yeah,
good point.
So that's one of the reasons that the second debate was so critical, emotionally speaking, from a psychological point of view. White Americans were reassured that they still have their virility, their masculinity, their strength. And even white American women have to say that we are not a loser, a nation of losers
women want to see
doomed, who are now doomed to just surrender everything. We still have guts. And Donald Trump represents that. Now, you don't believe any of this? Somebody might say that's all a little hogwash. Well, I urge you to look at this channel MSNBC, a channel of subverters and subversives dedicated to the destruction of America. take a good look at this anchor and host named Chris Hayes.
MSNBC.
MSNBC, yeah. Yeah, they talk about the border and they depict the illegals who are crossing the border as heroes, as sentimental people looking out for their families. They're heroes.
Oh.
And the people who are trying to stop them, like say the volunteer Minutemen, they are evil,
Bullies.
racists, haters, bullies.
Bullies, racists.
So MSNBC is just the fifth column within, the traitor within,
Yeah,
the enemy that opens the gates
yeah,
and works on your mind to open the gates.
yeah.
So typically they've got this anchor and host named Chris Hayes. Have a good look at Chris Hayes. He sits around discussing how best his country can be invaded and colonized and how it's virtuous to do so and compassionate to do so.
Compassion is aggression.
And he incites various illegals and Latinos to make more demands, and that would lead to another trajectory of demands. I remember that after the last election.
And good for the Democrats.
But have a look at Chris Hayes. He's got, what I say is, he's spaniel-faced and has the eyes of a whipped dog.
Thank you.
Have a good look at his eyes. The
Let's
eyes
do
of a
that.
whipped dog.
Yeah.
Now that's the kind of man the masters have been trying to create.
Yeah.
Tamed, thoroughly
Feminine.
effeminate, a weakling, and a groveler. Opposite of that, was
Donald
shown
Trump.
that Donald Trump showed that in the second debate.
All right. The Donald.
Well, that's largely the emotional effect, I thought, of that second debate. It reassured white Americans that we still have some manhood left in us. And I mean white American men and women.
That's right.
I mean women too.
We're Canadians.
felt. Well, I
Pretty
have a
close.
lot to do with Americans. I've seen Americans all my life.
Me
I've
too.
been taught by Americans and I visit the United States, so I have a great sympathy for them. Okay?
Yeah.
I would like to see the Western civilization, that flowering of European civilization, they get a new renaissance, a new efflorescence in all the small towns from New
Yeah.
England to the Oregon.
Yeah. They're not lost yet.
Now, the moderators of the debate began with an attack on Trump for his personal conversation, that sexually charged personal conversation. They started with that. Okay? Now, I don't want to get into details particularly, but I noticed something. There was this fellow Anderson Cooper,
Yeah. Who's gay?
who, I don't know if he's gay or not.
Yeah, he's come out publicly. He's gay.
Well, honestly, I don't care. What I do care about is that he's part of CNN, which is now a total subversive channel.
His real name is Anderson Cooper Vanderbilt. He's part of one of the New World Order families.
Well, I do know he was once an intern for the CIA. That part I do know.
Ah.
What I have noticed is that he's an agent of the New World Order.
He's an agent.
That's my reading of it.
Yeah.
And he started with a little trick, the kind of deceitful trick that the media dogs of the running dogs, the media dogs.
They've always been on Hillary's
Use.
side to the media.
Well, they're on Hillary's side now.
Yeah.
At this moment in this election, they're on Hillary's side
Yeah.
because she serves the masters.
Of course.
She serves the New World Order.
Yeah.
She serves the genociders. That's why. But I remember the words, the attack dog words of this media dog. And what was it? You brag that you have sexually assaulted women. I wonder why Trump doesn't just prosecute these people,
Yeah.
take them to court.
Yeah.
Because he never bragged that he had sexually assaulted anyone. He had said that when you're a celebrity, as I am, as he implied that he is, when you're a celebrity, they'll let you do anything. They'll let you grab them by the P word. They will let you. They will consent.
Ah.
Now, if someone consents to a sexual move,
It's not assault.
it's not assault, is it? Assault is upon the unconsenting.
Yeah.
It is done against the consent of somebody. But here's the kind of sly little trick,
Yeah.
the word trick,
I
the
heard Anderson Cooper say that.
kind of thing they
Trying to get him
use.
to admit it.
So Anderson Cooper said, you brag that you have sexually assaulted women. Now, that is the kind of little deceit that they use.
Yeah.
And I wish Trump would actually just prosecute Anderson Cooper and all the rest of them for
Yeah.
misrepresenting things.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, after the debate, you'll notice that they endlessly talked about nothing else but this tape and the character of. After the debate, which Donald Trump won,
I'm sure he wouldn't.
they didn't talk about his victory or the points he made or the accusations he leveled against Hillary Clinton, to which he had no answer.
Yeah.
For example, in the debate, Donald Trump said to Hillary Clinton, it comes out from WikiLeaks that you have spoken to your money givers, those who hold the purse strings, those who hold the strings of you, the puppet.
Purse strings, yeah.
Yeah, the puppet strings, the purse strings and you said that you have to have a private position and a public position. And she tried to get out of it by a cock and bull story about Abraham Lincoln. Now, did they talk about that she was exposed as being two-faced, as saying one thing to deceive the public, and then doing the opposite for her hidden masters, her paymasters? Did they talk about it? No. They didn't say he even won the debate. They said, well, we got to talk about this tape of him bragging 11 years ago and how damaging it is. He's on the defensive.
Yeah, good point.
Anyway, that's what they were going about. But
people can tell she's two-faced. I think that's what, like about Trump, he speaks straight.
But let's look at some of the details of the second debate as they reveal the positions or the goals of these two people. Let's look at some of the details. For example, Hillary Clinton said, I think more than once, we are going to be looking for ways to celebrate our diversity. Celebrate our diversity.
In the first minute she said diversity. I was listening.
Celebrate our diversity. Celebrate your disunion. Celebrate the fact that you have incompatible races within the country.
Yeah.
That you have
cultures.
Muslims, for example, shooting people. That you have an ongoing civil war between involving white Americans and black, with all these shootings and accusations of police shootings of black men. That's what you want to celebrate? The troubles that diversity brings? But no, we must find ways to celebrate. How do you find ways?
No.
Anyway, she's going to find ways to celebrate our diversity. So, the standard slogan of the genociders is diversity, and she immediately put forward her position.
Yeah.
I want the genocide of the whites by the influx, invasion, and colonization by aliens.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use nice words like diversity and compassion to cover up the ugly face of this crime.
Two-faced.
So another thing she said was, we've had Muslims in America since George Washington. Well,
not many.
That's outright denying the nature of the founding of the U.S., which was Anglo-Saxon and European.
Yeah.
That's in effect saying from the very birth, we've been a Muslim country as well as a Christian and white country.
Yeah.
Now
Christian
that would be news to me, to the Puritans who founded towns like Salem.
Maybe there's 3 in the country at the time.
No, but why would there be Muslims in America?
Very few.
Were they on the Mayflower?
No.
Were they clearing? Were they clearing the settlements of New England?
No.
But this is a way of saying this was never our country.
Yeah, so it's a lie. It's a deception.
This civilization was not built by us. This is a way of saying it.
Ridiculous.
Anyway, then she went on to say things like refugees. Think of that picture of that boy we just saw with blood on his forehead because he'd been bombed she claimed, by Russia and Syria.
Yeah.
Now, that's the emotional manipulation that is going on for the present destruction of Europe. They had a picture of a 4-year-old boy on a Turkish beach.
Yeah.
This boy, who was supposedly from Syria, may have been, lying dead on the beach because I believe his boat had capsized.
Yeah.
That was itself a deception because they were actually safe in Turkey. That family, his parents and that boy, was safe in a refugee camp in Turkey.
And his dad was making money shipping people across.
And his dad was a people smuggler, shipping people into Europe.
Risking his own son.
And one of the things he wanted to go to Germany for was free dental treatment. But they used the picture of that boy to play on the compassionate nature of Europeans.
Yeah.
And then came the flooding. It'll be almost impossible for Europeans to dislodge this wave of invaders and colonizers.
Yeah.
Their occupation, they're an occupied people now.
That's right.
But emotional manipulation like that little boy, and now Hillary Clinton uses the same trick of the masters. She's a good cat's paw, an agent for the masters. She uses the same trick.
Cat's paw.
Think of that picture of that boy we just saw with blood on his forehead because he'd been bombed.
Oh.
And she later used that to justify her wanting of hundreds of thousands of so-called Syrian refugees into America. More people to dispossess Americans.
Yeah.
Both the white Americans who founded the civilization and the present Americans.
Yeah.
But she wants an endless flood.
Just like Merkel.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, that's what she said about refugees. And what did she say? She said, we need to do our part. We are by no means carrying the load that the Europeans and others are. Now, this is predicated on the assumption that everyone has a duty to take in refugees.
I know. Is it they're doing the right thing?
But does everyone have a duty to take in refugees? Is that why...
Why not Muslim countries?
Is that why George Washington founded America?
No.
To take in refugees? He said, no, we are founding it for our people. We are...
Our state.
We have discovered, we are now going to... we are going to conquer the Red Indians, the native Indians, and grab the land from them for our people. And then they build the civilization for their people. Since when does anyone have a duty to take in refugees? If you want to help, send money, send food, establish refugee camps near to the troubled areas. But nobody has a duty to take in anybody, because when you take in aliens, you dispossess your own people.
Only white countries are made to feel that way too.
Well, of course, right next to them are countries like the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
How many refugees have they taken? Well, no, the Soros plan, George Soros has this plan, and the tactics of George Soros, I'm pretty sure that I'm right about this, that George Soros is financing and is setting up organizations to have this flood of refugees, so-called refugees, but actually migrants and invaders and colonists into white countries.
Gives them tourist brochures.
Gives them tourist brochures and provides the propaganda and the pictures.
Yeah.
And he has said that I stand for freedom of movement. Well, if he likes freedom of movement that much, they're very close to Israel. Let them go into Israel.
Yeah.
Let them go into Israel. George Soros is a great backer of Israel. Let them go into Israel, and we'll see. But Hillary Clinton is an agent of George Soros, or Soros being one of the masters.
And who's Soros an agent of?
No, he's not an agent of anyone. He's one of the masters of the New World Order.
Yeah.
And Donald Trump did point that out during the debate, that you, Hillary Clinton, work for Soros.
Yeah, I mentioned my name. That was
paid
good.
for him.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons, of course, that the sneak rulers are so anxious to destroy Donald Trump. He actually named one of them.
Yeah.
But we're coming to that. And then Hillary Clinton goes on to say Donald Trump wanted to ban the influx or the entry of Muslims into the US. And what were her words? We cannot ban people like Muslims based on a religion. We cannot? I thought you were a sovereign country. I thought we could ban anyone.
We can do whatever we want, yeah.
I thought a sovereign country can close its borders to anybody.
Yeah.
No, according to Hillary Clinton, we're a whore. This is not a country, this is a whorehouse. We aren't entitled to we have to let every John in. We don't have any rights.
Good analogy.
Yeah. We are obligated to let in people without regard to race or religion or anything. Her starting assumption is open borders.
Yeah, she's assuming that's right.
Yeah,
People believe her.
And if we stop anyone, then if someone says that no, let's not have anyone, they'll say, no, now you have to defend your position like a criminal. You're the criminal and you have to make a defense. Her starting assumption is we have open borders, anyone can come in.
And that you're a racist if you don't agree with her.
Well, all the control words,
Yeah.
racist, for all of it. But when she says we cannot ban people like Muslims based on a religion, her starting assumption is we have to let everyone in. And if you stop, if you try to stop anyone, that needs a defense, that needs explanation. But her position doesn't need explanation. No, open the borders, open the borders.
It's the assumptive close. Yeah.
So, what did Trump say? Trump replied to that, she wants amnesty for everyone.
Yep.
Trump said that Hillary wants amnesty for everyone. Come right in, come right over. It's a horrible thing she's doing. But there you see the starkly opposed positions of the two. Hillary's argued all the way through for diversity, for letting in Syrian refugees. We must do our share.
Share of what? Yeah.
Share of what? Share of genocide
Yeah.
of our people? And Trump says she wants amnesty for everyone. It's a horrible thing she's doing. Well, he wish he'd say more. It's genocide she's conducting against
so far.
our people. Anyway, I've already talked about the public and private position. She lied. But then Trump, actually, Hillary went on with another role model. One woman wrote to me about her son Felix. She adopted him from Ethiopia.
Yeah.
And he listens to Donald on TV and asked his mother, will he send me back to Ethiopia when he gets elected? So you see how she shows concern for every alien.
Yeah.
Alicia Machado, the Syrian boy who got bombed, the Ethiopian
No concern
child,
for a white person.
and she always holds up, if she can, she holds up children, because that's what tugs at your heartstrings.
That's her shtick.
The children, baby killing stories led America, gulled America into the first Gulf War.
Yeah, I remember that. The incubator story.
So Hillary Clinton never once in the debate expressed one word for a white child,
Wow.
or one of her own kids.
Gosh.
She never said, there's a kid in Connecticut, there's a kid in a town
Good point.
in Minnesota who's the only kid in her school. She's surrounded by Somalis.
Yeah.
She's never said, there's a kid who might have had a whole house and now lives in an apartment. Because aliens have crowded us out and we now have a population of
That's
nearly
me.
300 million people. Instead of an ideal, for America, the ideal population would be 100 million. But now they're over 200 million, 250 million, close to 300.
I think it's
But she doesn't express concern about the children of her own race and say, there's a child there who doesn't have a forest next to her,
Yeah.
where she did once
Good
before.
point, Frank.
Hillary Clinton has Alicia Machado. She has Syrian boys who need to be
Yeah.
coming into America and,
More
and
programming,
breeding
conditioning.
4 children, 6 children per family. She has this Ethiopian child. So
Gosh.
these are the techniques.
Techniques.
Yeah. So then comes the issue that of the Second Amendment. Now, as I said, the New World Order masters want to disarm the American people. And what did Trump say? I will appoint judges, Supreme Court judges, who will protect the Second Amendment, which is under siege from people like Hillary Clinton. And guess what? Hillary Clinton proved his point instantly. She said, I will close the gun show loophole and the online loophole. I will close loopholes that allow people to have guns.
Well, she's attacking the Second Amendment.
Today, there's a thin line separating Americans from total slavery to the New World Order.
Yeah.
And that the guns are part of that very thin line.
Yeah.
I remember reading how the Bolsheviks were able to take over the Soviet Union, and they went into houses, the secret police of the Bolsheviks went into houses and dragged out doctors, lawyers, nurses, professors, teachers, because these were the educated people, and they wanted to decapitate the Russian people,
Yeah.
destroy their intelligentsia so that they could rule them more thoroughly. And they went into these houses with their guns and their machine guns and their pistols, and they could drag these people out and then kill them by the millions.
It's
Priests as well.
This goes down the memory hole. People don't remember this.
Yeah, the Bolsheviks were able to do that because the people didn't have guns. If they had guns, the secret police would have trembled when going down the corridor of a house
Yeah.
or trying to go into the bedroom of someone. They'd have trembled and been afraid of the shot that comes and hits them in the forehead or plugs their stomach.
That's what happened. That's what would happen in the United States.
And now Hillary Clinton's reply is, she didn't say that she would protect the Second Amendment. Donald Trump just said it.
Yeah.
But she said, I will close these loopholes, meaning I'll plug every hole in the dike until there is no dike.
She's like a Bolshevik.
Until finally, I'll close every loophole until there's just a huge wall that stops Americans from getting hold of a weapon with which to defend themselves against an oppressive government.
Yeah.
In this case, the government of the New World Order. Yeah. I will close these loopholes. Okay.
Just what Thomas Jefferson warned about. Oh, maybe we should pause this point right in our last second. Remember that quote from Thomas Jefferson, they should have the right to bear arms to protect themselves against their own government.
Exactly. People must be as well armed as its government, otherwise the government can enslave them.
Yeah.
That's the theory. And the United States is the only country in the Western world now that still has this. And this is one of the last little tripwires in the way of the sneak rulers.
That's right. Okay. Next part.